Wherever love goes, there is also misery. It's no mystery. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy. When we're in too deep. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. My love, it grows with the memories like a symphony. And you and I, we got history, yeah. And when you're alone, do you say my name or you say her name? Yeah. My love, it grows with the memories like a symphony. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Wherever love flows, there
Of Dembele, I think he's the most similar player. He's the player that gives Barca something a little bit different. Of course, there'll be games where the likes of Dennis could come in that position and do a job. But I think when you want to stretch the opponent, when you want to get in behind the defence, when you want a winger taking on players and getting the ball into the box to your Leo Messi's and your Suarez's, I think he is the man when Dembele's not fit. And obviously Dembele's going to be out for a couple more months.
Rakitic feeding that one through the middle to Messi. Too many Malaga players around him. Sergio Roberto picks out Deulofeu. The only question mark over Deulofeu is still his final decision making, but we've seen a big improvement this season already. Big chance for him today, playing alongside Leo Messi and Suarez in attack. There you can see how solid looking the Malaga defence is straight away, but getting through almost immediately, and the ball in the back of the net from Deulofeu, and it stands. Certainly Deulofeu celebrating, the whole Malaga defence rooted to the ground there. Andres Prieto complaining to the linesman, the referee. Pablo Gonzalez has a look over at his assistant. The Malaga players are absolutely lost for words. It's 1-0 to Barca, 2 minutes gone. Gerard Deulofeu answering his critics in the opening moments. Mitchell cannot believe it. What happened there, Duncan McMath?
Well, it's the worst possible start. It's brilliant build-up from Football Club Barcelona. This pass from Andres Iniesta for Digne takes the deflection. It's clearly gone out. How have they missed that? It's about half a yard over the line.
It came off Roberto Rosales. He wasn't sure where the ball had gone, but when he turns round, you can see the ball still out of play. It's taking advantage of the situation by Barcelona. You can't complain about what they did, keeping play going, but you've got to feel sorry for Prieto. Look at that. There's going to be controversy. There
is controversy because that is a long way out, and there's no way that the linesman shouldn't be in line with that. It wasn't a really quick move that the linesman couldn't follow. He should have seen that. The referee could have seen that as well. I thought it was obvious live anyway. Having seen the replays, obviously it's easier for us, but that is a shocking decision from the officials in this game, and they really should have seen that one. Lucas Digne, you can't hold it against him. He tried to get the ball back in play, but he'll have known it would have crossed the line. He'll have known it was out. And Deulofeu reacts when all the Malaga players had just stopped. I mean, we're always told to play to the whistle, but that was a really poor decision.
It certainly was. Very fortunate indeed for Digne and Deulofeu and Barca in general. It becomes a huge task now for these Malaga players. What kind of spirit have they got? What kind of spirit is there in the dressing room? Let's have a look as Roland tries the shot, didn't quite catch it, and Javier Mascherano sends it over the line for a corner. But mentally now for this Malaga side, it really is a big ask, isn't it?
I mean, it's the worst possible start, of course, against Barca. You come here, you want to be well organised, you want to make a good start to the game. You don't want to concede that early goal, and they've conceded within 2 minutes. You've got to feel for Andres Prieto making his debut for Malaga. He's a young goalkeeper. He's only come in because the first two goalkeepers are injured. It's his big opportunity at the Camp Nou, and he's conceded a goal which should never have stood within 2 minutes.
Barca failed to get the corner away. Roland goes down. The referee points for a goal kick. It's not even that surprising, perhaps. I'm sure Mitchell will have said to them, look, you know who we're facing today. If Messi or Suarez creates something brilliant in the opening minute and you go one down, you're still in the game, there's still 90 minutes to go, don't let your shoulders get down. Having said that, you see the ball cross the byline by, you said half a yard. I think that's being generous. I think it's more like a whole yard. And what can you do? How can you tell these players who are fighting week in, week out, getting bad luck? We've seen how Malaga have performed in many matches better than the result has actually shown. And you go 1-0 down 2 minutes into the game to a shocking decision by the match officials like that. It's got to be really tough mentally now for this Malaga side.
Definitely, and there's two ways to take it, and we're going to see it again here as the ball comes back to Digne. He takes a touch, so it wouldn't have been even a corner kick. It would have been a goal kick. It should have been a goal kick. Suarez misses the header, and there's Deulofeu to finish it off. He does well, Deulofeu, but it should never have stood. I suppose there's two ways that Malaga can take it. One is, if you go to the Camp Nou, the last thing that you want is for Barca to get help, and that's what they've got here. They've had a bit of help, they've got a bit lucky, and they've scored a goal that should never have stood. The other way is if they can hold on to this scoreline, say they get to half-time, and it's 1-0, and they know that that goal should never have stood, then it's kind of, it could be a positive. It could be a way of Michel getting through to his players and saying, listen, this is how well you've played. The only goal you've conceded should never have stood anyway.
Well, that will be a real test if that is the case at half-time for Mitchell and Malaga. Long way to go yet before that opportunity for the Malaga manager to use some of his psychological wiles on the players. Let's see how Malaga can react to it. There's 6 minutes on the clock. Barcelona, according to the scoreboard, 1-0 up. The goal scored by Gerard Deulofeu. And for Malaga, as we've said, moments of tension. Can they get back into the game? Can they respond? That one floated in the general direction of Chori Castro. No way the Uruguayan was going to get to it. Mitchell's face, well, you could just see him muttering slightly under his breath. You can understand his feelings. Malaga have been really poor this season, but meanwhile here's Rakitic breaking down the right flank. Deulofeu makes an interesting run. It's intercepted by Juancar, who sends the ball back towards midfield. Iniesta picking up the loose ball, finding Samuel Umtiti, and getting applause from the fans in the Camp Nou.
Yeah, he's been lauded by just about everyone, Samuel Umtiti, this season. Him and Gerard Piqué make a fantastic partnership in the middle.
Lovely step over from Rakitic, aware of the arrival down the flank of Sergio Roberto, whose pass was a little bit imprecise. Luis Hernandez with the clearance. It's a throw into Barcelona. What I was just saying, that thought of mine that got interrupted, Duncan, there have been games this season when Malaga have performed better than the results have shown. But today was always going to be a huge test, and of course that kind of goal so early on doesn't help. Here's Deulofeu, back to Sergio Roberto. Rakitic. Samuel Umtiti coming forward, gets the return pass from Andres Iniesta. Umtiti picking out Javier Mascherano. Sergio Roberto down the line looking for Deulofeu. He didn't quite make it, and it's put into touch by Juancar.
Just on your point, Simon, they have been unlucky. They've lost a lot of games by just 1-0. They lost on the opening day of the season 1-0 at home against Eibar. They then lost 1-0 away against Girona. They lost 1-0 against Atletico Madrid. They were hammered by Valencia by 5-0. And in their last two games, they've lost 2-0 against Sevilla and Leganés. And you and I have commentated a number of those games, and we've made the comment of, well, surely this can't go on. Surely they've got to get a win at some stage, because they are playing well, and to come back against Athletic Club with 10 men from 3-1 down was absolutely incredible, and it showed the guts that this team have got, and the quality, of course. But on other occasions, and especially that 5-0 hammering by Valencia, they have looked very, very poor.
But even then, if my memory serves me right, it was 0-0 at half-time, or certainly they were maybe 1-0 down at half-time. And that is the case. They were 1-0 down to a goal from Santi Mina, I seem to recall, and it was in the second half when Valencia really put them to the sword.
Yeah, Zaza stepped up, didn't he? Bagged a hat-trick.
Yeah, but that's not news anymore, really, Zaza scoring goals. I think it was you pointing out to me that Zaza's last 7 shots have ended up in goal. That's another side, that's Valencia. We're watching Barcelona attack through Lucas Digne down the left wing. Back to Andres Iniesta. Dips it into the box, and a moment of hesitation there from the keeper. Goal kick given. It was Ivan Rakitic who popped up there in the box. He ended up on his back. Decent ball in from Iniesta. And just a moment's hesitation, I think, there. He took his eye off the ball a little bit, Andres Prieto, as Rakitic arrived. In the end, neither of them got a touch, and it was a goal kick.
The Barca players barely... I think Rakitic might have asked for a penalty, but it was almost out of embarrassment. They know they've been gifted a goal. It's a very strange situation, because all those Barca players that were in the box, including Deulofeu, who scored, but Suarez and Digne, they'll have all known that the ball crossed the line. They'll have all known that that goal shouldn't have stood. And it must be a slightly odd feeling to know that you're beating a team that's rock bottom by a goal that should never have stood.
Iniesta unable to link up with Messi. It's picked up now by Chori Castro. Keko floating one in towards Roland. He's got to get away from Sergio Roberto. Sergio Roberto, well aware of the presence, is bullied off the ball by Roland. And in the end, unable to do anything with it. Peñaranda could have shown a little bit of the strength and determination then perhaps that Roland had just shown. Iniesta plays the ball out. It'll be a throw in to Malaga. 11 minutes on the clock, and the scoreboard still reading 1-0 to Football Club Barcelona. Here's Juancard. Back to Paul Baisset. Plays it square to Luis Hernandez. Now Rosales. Side to Adrian Gonzalez. Claims for a foul against Umtiti, waved away by referee Pablo Gonzalez. Mascherano stretching. De La Feu, first time back to Sergio Roberto. Mascherano again. Patience from Barcelona, dominating the possession of the ball in these first 12 minutes. No major surprises there. Umtiti. Luis Suarez looking for Rakitic, but it's picked up instead by Sergio Roberto. Mascherano. Luis Suarez. Now Leo Messi. Messi goes on one of his jinking diagonal runs. Iniesta back healer. First time to Digne. Digne slings the cross and it's blocked by Luis Hernandez. Beautiful football from Leo Messi there.
Really good football from Barca, but excellent defending. Really, really good interception from Luis Hernandez.
But the understanding, Duncan, between Messi and Iniesta there, that kind of move comes from years of playing on the training ground, doesn't it? Look at that first touch from Iniesta, first touch from Messi. Well, credit to Digne for having got into the position. The cross just blocked, as you said brilliantly, by Luis Hernandez. But it must be terrifying defending against these guys when they get a bit of space.
Yeah, you can imagine, can't you? When these guys are running at you, Messi, Suarez, Iniesta, De La Feu as well. It's so hard to follow what they're doing and to read it and to time your challenge like that, as Luis Hernandez did, was very, very good.
De La Feu for Barca, back to Sergio Roberto. Picks out Leo Messi. Again, Messi feeding it through to Suarez. First time back to him. The ball bounced awkwardly. Messi's shot is blocked. He goes down, stays down. Has a bit of a forlorn look at the referee as Luis Suarez tries to bring it under control. Well dealt with by Rosales. Picked out by Iniesta. Messi just bundled off the ball there by Paul Baisset, and it'll be a goal kick.
Well, Messi felt he was fouled in the build-up to that, Simon, right on the edge of the box. He's having a word with the referee again now. Wasn't happy. This is the move moments earlier, and the cross from Digne. Excellent defending by Luis Hernandez. But whenever you see Messi complain, because he complains so infrequently, you kind of always think he's probably got a point, don't you?
We certainly saw that in the game against Atletico Madrid last weekend when he went down and peeled for a penalty. It was waved away and play continued. And you watched the replay 6 or 7 times without really seeing anything. On the 7th time, you could see he was actually right to demand a penalty. So, yeah, it tends to be a good way of measuring things. If Messi complains, there's very often something to it. Here's Sergio Roberto picking out Umtiti under a little bit of pressure from Keko. Javier Mascherano, such a great servant to the Catalan club. Rakitic. Long diagonal ball looking for De La Feu, keeps it in play. First time volley back to Sergio Roberto. Now it's Iniesta. De La Feu again. It's patient from Barcelona. Samuel Umtiti just crossing the halfway line. Digne back to Rakitic. Malaga holding their shape, not wanting to take any major risks at this stage. There's Mascherano making a run. It's Rakitic. Mascherano instead picking out Digne wide on the left. Inside to Luis Suarez. Titi.
El Barça gana 1-0 con Digne, con Suárez. La presión de Gigo, ahí está la diferencia de pases que marca un poco cómo fue este tramo del partido. Con un Barça ocupando campo rival, toque de una de Messi, toque de primera de Rakitic, recepción de Sergio Roberto. Hacia el medio Sergio Roberto. Rakitic. Se ensancha el Barça con Digne. Digne para Suárez. Suárez que recibe, defendido por Luis Hernández. Ahí está un Tití, se acerca a Gigo, también Rolón a Iniesta. El juego es de Suárez, habilitando a Digne. No pierde paciencia el Barça. Está ganando por 1-0. En una fecha en la cual ya ganó el Valencia. Muy bien ubicado en la tabla el equipo Che. Gran comienzo para el conjunto valenciano con Marcelino que se va recuperando. Mascherano, ahí está Sergio Roberto. Ese es Deulofeu. El pase para Deulofeu. Se tropezó Deulofeu, va aprovechando Juancar, va despegando entonces el Málaga, el pase de Juancar. Peñaranda se animó, le rebotó a Masche y será tiro de esquina derecho. La imagen del hombre de la vino tinto, sí, tiro de esquina derecho para el conjunto de Michel.
Ahí estaba Michel mirando. Pero no se puede perder la pelota, el Málaga va a buscar, a tratar de ver si puede inquietar la pierna de Mascherano, la pelota que se va al córner, buscará por arriba ahora.
A meterse por la terraza de Ter Stegen va el equipo de la Costa del Sol. El grito de independencia habitual en el minuto 17 entonces. La pegada a la zona caliente para Peñaranda. En lo alto Rakitic, Gigo al medio, atención, no podía Adrián González, será habilitado Roland. No, no está habilitado Roland. Igualmente estaba Digne, ¿no? Para solucionar todo en esa jugada. La imagen del Oriental. De Diego fue Tomás, ¿no? Que con Independiente ganó 2 Copas Libertadores en la década del 60.
Ah, el tío era
el tío abuelo.
Navarro y Roland.
Exactamente.
Escúchame, ni hablar. ¿Cómo no lo vas a recordar?
Bueno, y el abuelo jugó en Deportivo Maldonado, era arquero, pero el tío abuelo es el referente Independiente en la década del 60.
Tremendo, el equipo grande de
si no recuerdo mal, 64 y 65, ¿no?
Sí.
Los títulos consecutivos de Independiente en la Libertadores.
¿Qué te parece?
Allí está Messi. Trababa, metía a Sergio Busquets.
Si querés después te digo todo el equipo de memoria. Toriani, Navarro y Roland,
Ah.
Me acuerdo.
Iniesta. Traba. Quita Gigo con falta sobre el capitán del Barça. Tiro libre entonces para el conjunto culé, que irá por arriba seguramente a inquietarlo a Prieto.
Recordando a ese Independiente, más allá de mis colores celestes y blancos, pero había un respeto muy particular por un equipo que era el que nos representaba a Argentina en todos los lugares, porque jugaba la Copa Libertadores, ¿no?
Década del 60 y del 70, Independiente con una gran actividad, gloriosa actividad, ¿no?
Y contagió a Racing, que después salió campeón de América.
Exactamente.
Hace 50 años, en el 67, Miguel.
Allí está Messi. Limpiándola con Mascherano, jugándola para Sergio Roberto. Estamos aquí con Gigo Wolf, casi 20 marca el reloj. El resultado del placar ya no está vacío por un gol que no debió ser sancionado, que hizo Deulofeu. Un tití.
Por eso creo que el Barça quiere hacer goles para decir, viste, para que no digan que fue por ese gol.
Digne went down. Iniesta rather went down. He arrives very late, just goes through the back of Andres Iniesta. The referee deciding not to play advantage, but to call the foul and get out the yellow card, first of the game. Sergio Roberto finds Deulofeu. Rakitic, Sergio Roberto, all the way back to Mark ter Stegen. Umtiti driving forward for Barcelona. Suarez made a run. Umtiti looking for and finding Deulofeu. Good ball indeed that was. Deulofeu trying to get away from Juanca, supported by Rakitic. Leo Messi riding the first challenge. It was a fairly physical 1-2 from Johnny Castro. Here's Iniesta. Digne back to Andres Iniesta. Iniesta's cross to the far post. Sergio Roberto was waiting there, but in the end it was dealt with by Paul Baissé. It'll be a corner by Johnny Castro, I should say. It'll be a corner for Football Club Barcelona.
Another good move. Sergio Roberto joining the attack on that occasion. Good vision, as you'd expect from Andres Iniesta, to try and pick out his teammate at the back post.
First corner for Barcelona. Andres Prieto looking on. Deulofeu with an outswinger to the near post, headed clear. And it will be a throw to Barcelona. Sergio Roberto to take it. Adrian Gonzalez trying to urge his team forward as that ball was played out from the back. 75% possession to Barcelona in the opening 20 minutes here. Samuel Umtiti on the ball. Digne gets away from Keko but forced back. Mascherano. Deulofeu drives away from Adrian. It's intercepted nicely there by Peñaranda. Juancar. And in the end, Baissé stepping over it, leaving for Andres Prieto. Rakitic just got a touch to that. It's picked up and very nearly lost by Sergio Busquets. He recovered in time to find Mascherano. Leo Messi goes down, running off the ball there, has another look at the linesman. Play continues. Iniesta back to Digne. Umtiti to Mascherano. He finds Leo Messi. Well, he was trying to link up with Deulofeu there. Would have been an outrageous combination if he'd managed it. Umtiti committing a foul right in front of the referee. Peñaranda goes down, free kick to Malaga. Just bundling him over there, Samuel Umtiti. And there's that incident with Messi off the ball with Paul Baissé. Usually a good plan not to get Leo Messi angry on a football pitch, isn't it?
Definitely is.
Juancar with the throw for Malaga. 24 minutes on the clock now. And to give them their due, despite the tremendous disappointment of the controversial first goal in the second minute, hasn't been too much work for Andres Prieto to do since then.
No, he hasn't really been tested, has he, Andres Prieto? I was reading a story about him in the Spanish papers today. It was all about him being related to Lucas Vázquez at Real Madrid. And would he be helping out his relative Lucas Vázquez today with a good performance against Real Madrid's rivals, Football Club Barcelona? I read a little bit more about it, and it was a slightly tedious link. Turns out that Andres Prieto's going out with Lucas Vázquez's wife.
We'll just interrupt you for 1 second there as Leo Messi driving to the edge of the box. He seems to have won a free kick right on the edge of the area. There's a yellow card to Luis Hernandez. Messi's run momentarily causing shockwaves in the Malaga defence. Referee Pablo Gonzalez quick to get the card out. There's the first challenge he avoids, and it's for a handball.
Yeah, I think it's... Ooh.
And that's, again, a tough decision, and I can understand Luis Hernandez's annoyance there.
I think it hits him on the shoulder, doesn't it? It did look live and even in the first replay, like he'd stuck his arm out.
Yeah, it's a strange posture that he's got his arm in, but it clearly did hit him on the shoulder. More reasons for annoyance from Michel Gonzalez. He's going out with his wife, did you say?
No. Well, that would be a story. No, he's going out with Lucas Vázquez's wife's sister. So
keep it in the family, always, always, or almost always.
It was a slightly tedious link.
Free kick to Barcelona, 26 minutes on the clock. Andres Prieto trying to get the wall organised. This one couldn't really be more perfectly placed for Leo Messi. Perhaps a little close to the goal. He might prefer a few metres back, but this is a man who can seemingly do whatever he desires with the ball. Luis Suarez standing over it too. The Malaga players taking their time to get behind the foam line. They're well in front of it there. It's so clear to see. The referee's got to get this sorted. He's going to be questioned horrifically, Pablo Gonzalez and his staff, after this one, isn't he? Not just for that. They were clearly a metre in front of that line that you can still see in the penalty area, but also for, well, the decision to give the free kick in the first place and for the Barcelona goal. Play continues. Lucas Digne on the ball. Iniesta nearly caught by Roland. Mascherano. Suarez just failing to get the touch he wanted. It'll be a goal kick.
You nearly fell into the same trap as Patrick Kluivert did in midweek there, Simon. It was Patrick Kluivert now commentating on Spanish TV just before Messi scored that wonderful free kick in midweek to get his 100th goal in European competition. Patrick Kluivert said, no, it's too close, he can't score from here.
Yeah, well, I'm quite happy for making the same mistakes as a legend like Patrick Kluivert, obviously. Baisse sending it down the line where it's intercepted by Sergio Roberto, picked up by Chori Castro. His first time touch finding Rakitic instead of Adrian Gonzalez. Mascherano square to Samuel Umtiti. Iniesta back to Rakitic. Mascherano. Dominance of the ball from Barca, but still Andres Prieto having a relatively quiet time of things. Got to maintain your concentration, however, if you're defending against Barcelona in the Camp Nou. Here's Luis Suarez. Well blocked by Esteban Rolón. Iniesta. Neat turn, picks out Digne. Iniesta leaving it. Suarez, I don't think saw it till it was too late, and a chance perhaps on the break. It's picked up by Diego Roland. He's got Peñaranda with him. Juancar on the overlap. Juancar's cross is a good one, and that's a brilliant counter-attack from Malaga, just failing to put it away at the last minute. Chori Castro. But that's the best chance of the game, Duncan, so far. It
is, and it's really well worked. It's an excellent breakaway from Diego Roland. He's their star, no question about it. If he performs well tonight, then they have got a chance to score goals. He starts the move, spreads it out wide to Juancar. It's a brilliant cross from Juancar. And Chori Castro gets his head on the ball, gets in a good position, makes an excellent run, but can't put it between the sticks.
It's a chase for De La Feu, who gets the first touch. He's harried off the ball really by Luis Hernandez, who's so far performing really well in defence despite that rather unfortunate yellow card he's just picked up. And De La Feu will be disappointed there.
Yeah, you could say that De La Feu maybe should have shown a bit more strength there, because he was muscled off the ball quite easily by Luis Hernandez, but I mean the difference in size is huge. Luis Hernandez is a big strong centre-back, and he did very well.
Floated in towards Leo Messi, getting there first. Paul Baisse, it's picked up by Chori Castro in the centre of the park. Plays it wide. Rosales. He ignores the presence of Esteban Rolón and plays it back to Hernandez. Rosales again, now Hernandez once more. Peñaranda to Adrian Gonzalez. Chori Castro. Roland screaming for it on the left. He's got Juancar on the overlap. Roland choosing to go it alone. Adrian looks up, plays it square to Rosales. Luis Hernandez to Baise. Adrian once more. Roland with a little touch. Lack of control there, goes through into the hands or the feet of Mark ter Stegen. 31 minutes have passed in the Camp Nou, and from the second minute on it's 2-0, 1-0 I should say, to Football Club Barcelona. The goal scored by Deulofeu in what will no doubt be controversial circumstances.
Big goal though for Deulofeu, his first with Football Club Barcelona. Is after 16 games and 14 shots, he's finally broken his duck. I'm sure he'd have preferred to have done it with a goal that should have stood, but they all count in the end, don't they? I'm sure he'll be pleased to have got off the mark.
Digne for Barca, back to Luis Suarez. Suarez picks out Sergio Busquets, who in turn finds Sergio Roberto. Now Deulofeu. Juancar goes across, Deulofeu cutting inside, plays it back to Leo Messi. Messi's got Rakitic with him. Rakitic finding Digne, first time to Andres Iniesta. Inside to Luis Suarez, who underhits the pass, and Keko very nearly taking it off Iniesta. Neat little flick from Rakitic to Mascherano. Mascherano with the return ball, and that'll be a foul against Rakitic inside the penalty area. Baise stays down. I think he caught him there unintentionally as the ball came over, but that could have hurt the Frenchman.
Yeah, it's one of those nasty ones, but obviously completely unintentional. But he's really taken out there by Ivan Rakitic. The ball's coming over his shoulder, he's looking the other way. There's no way that he could have known where Baise was, but he clearly takes out the Frenchman.
33 minutes gone. It's Andres Prieto to take the resulting free kick. Baise on his feet, and in the words of many a coach, he'll have to run that one off. And here he is on the ball. Picks out Adrian, looking for Peñaranda. He got a touch to it. Roland picks it up. He whistled very, very late in going there as the linesman raises his flag. Digne for Barcelona. Deulofeu down, and the referee waving play on. Samuel Umtiti. Suarez looking to link with Iniesta, well dealt with again by Luis Hernandez. It's a bit of a loose one. Peñaranda there. Here's Roland, and he went to throw for Malaga. Mascherano blocking his progress.
Yeah, good challenge from Mascherano, but lovely football again from Malaga, and they do play well. They keep the ball very nicely, they move it around the pitch with pace, with precision. They're a good team to watch, and I think Michel's a very good manager. I think his sides do play good, entertaining football, and the players are very keen that he stays. There was a few interviews this week, Michel coming out and saying he'll never lose the faith. Miguel Torres, the Malaga captain, coming out and saying that he thinks the side are very lucky to have a man of Michel's stature and experience as manager of the club. You think if they did sack Michel, who would they get in that's more experienced or better than him? It's a difficult one.
Well, the talk is Javi Gracia, who did so well before leaving for Ruben Cassan, where he didn't enjoy quite so much success. I think if you look at what Malaga did at the end of last season when Michel took over, you can see the quality of the former Madrid player as a coach. And I agree, the players seem to be with him, but if they're looking for a change, obviously very few coaches in the world would want to come in and face as your first game Football Club Barcelona in the Camp Nou. So then the question is, do you wait until the international break, which is often seen as an ideal time to make that sort of change in the dugout? Or do you just go with Mitchell and have faith in what he's trying to do? I mean, I agree with you. I think they've been unfortunate. I think they deserve to have more than 1 point on the board. Not too many more, but maybe 7 or 8, to not necessarily be 6 points behind the side just above the drop zone. I think, you know, it would be nice to think there would be that kind of patience, but there isn't always in football as Messi breaks forward. Still Messi's got options. Suarez arriving on the left, and he didn't quite make the pass. It just was blocked by the defender and ran through to Andres Prieto. Barca on the counter there momentarily.
Yeah, it's a strange one because Messi usually does the simple thing and makes everything look simple. On that occasion, he had an easy pass to Suarez and didn't take it, tried to thread it through the defence instead, and kind of overcomplicated things, I think.
Peñaranda picking the ball up in the centre circle, looking for support, finally getting it from his compatriot Rosales. Keiko returns it to Rosales. Peñaranda once more. Adrian. Now Juancar. Chori finding Roland. And taking on Mascherano. Mascherano coming out on top, getting the applause of the home fans. Busquets. Well, that was a pretty tough one for Messi. Dealt with it well. Oh, lovely footwork. Feeds it off to Deulofeu. Suarez first time back. Just perhaps a little bit too sharp, but moment of magic from Leo Messi there.
Yeah, more great footwork.
Is Rolon. Back to Luis Hernandez. Peñaranda. Looks so confident on the ball, does Adalberto Peñaranda. Playing quite deep today. Good challenge from Baise. Peñaranda again. Intercepted by Lucas Digne. Rakitic on the ball. Plenty of time to look up and choose his man. He chooses Leo Messi, and why not? Still Messi, he's got Suarez free. Lays it off finally for Suarez. Suarez hasn't got an option. He waits, hesitates, it's blocked. Goes back to Suarez. Iniesta. Here's Deulofeu to keep the attack going. Decides he can't get beyond. Juancar feeds one through to Rakitic, who goes down. I think he just slipped. And the pressure's off Malaga momentarily.
Well, that was unbelievable. That attack, when Messi was running at those Malaga defenders, he was surrounded by 4 blue and white shirts. There was a time when Messi and Suarez were inside the Malaga box, and there were 7 Malaga players plus the goalkeeper in the box, and only 2 Barca players. This Malaga side are working really, really hard, getting men behind the ball. It's what we said at the start, Simon. It's all very well looking to catch Barca on the counter-attack, but first things first, you have to defend well. You have to get bodies behind the ball, and you've got to make it as difficult as possible for Football Club Barcelona to break through. And that's certainly what Malaga are doing, and I think they're doing it quite well.
A yellow card for that man's son, Adrian Gonzalez. And we saw an earlier challenge from Juancar that went without punishment, and Mitchell, I think you can see, you might not be able to read lips or even speak the language he's talking in there, but not particularly happy with certain aspects of tonight's refereeing, I think it's fair to say. Digne trying to get away from Keiko, forced back from Titi, back to Mark ter Stegen. Mascherano playing the ball out of the Barcelona penalty area. Here's Leo Messi. Floating that one in towards Suarez, and Luis Hernandez doing brilliantly to get his head to that. Didn't put the keeper under pressure, just got enough of a touch to get the ball out of the danger zone, which was basically Luis Suarez's foot. Good defending again from the former Real Madrid man.
Yeah, very, very intelligent defending. Watched the ball superbly as he was backpedaling. It's a difficult thing to do, and he, as you said, got the perfect contact on the ball.
Here's Adrian. Now Rosales. We're into the last 5 minutes of this first half. Keiko. Rosales got plenty of time and space. He didn't see the arrival of Peñaranda. Here's Chori Castro who finally got the volley. It was blocked, but what a huge opportunity there. And Rosales didn't see his compatriot in a lot of space in the Barca area.
Yeah, what a shame. What a shame, because that was a really good opportunity for Malaga. They've created a couple, one from the left, one from the right. The first one, a header from Chori Castro that he should have done better with. That one ended up with Chori Castro, but it was a very difficult effort, and he didn't really send it goalwards at all. He just sliced at the ball. But yeah, I agree with you, Simon. Rosales had a brilliant opportunity to square it for Peñaranda. Didn't spot him.
Suarez to Sergio Roberto, looking for Messi, just overhits it, and I think Messi may have been offside, although Luis Hernandez complaining to the linesman whose flag stayed down. Either way, the ball just overhit for Messi from Sergio Roberto. Well, you can see the number 16 just getting into the penalty area there. There was a lot of space for him to receive that ball. Yeah,
he'd made a really intelligent run, and he wasn't properly followed by Sergio Busquets, who was scampering back to try and pick him up. But he'd made a great near-post run. He would have easily been able to get a shot away, and in the end it was a difficult one. It's sliced horribly by Chori Castro, but there were men jumping in front of him, and he wouldn't have seen it until the last second.
Adrian, back to Paul Baise. It'll be a throw to Barca. Not the greatest one there from Esteban Rolón. Good strength there from Sergio Roberto, but the throw-in goes Malaga's way. 2.5 minutes to go until the half-time whistle. It's Adrian for Malaga. Picks out Rosales. Rosales showing a bit more initiative up this right flank over the last few minutes. Good work from Keko. Adrian a little back healer to Rolón. Well intercepted by Deulofeu. Good first touch too to try and get away from Chori Castro. Plays it back to Sergio Roberto. And now Mark ter Stegen under pressure from Roland. He puts the ball out.
Rare from Mark ter Stegen. He's usually so reliable with his feet. It's almost a cliche to say it, but he's like an extra outfield player. We say it so often. You saw he was very comfortable bringing the ball under control and trying to play the pass, but in the end it was overhit.
I think it's a fair point. I think it's also fair to say that Roland was putting him under pressure. Full credit to him as well. And Malaga, you think, get the feeling, really need to get the ball to Diego Roland a little bit more often if they can. Here he is now, under pressure from Deulofeu. Flicks it in to Keko, gets the rebound, and it's Umtiti with excellent anticipation. Deulofeu helping out. Fails to get the ball clear though, Adrian. And Peñaranda's pass is intercepted by Sergio Roberto right on the edge of the Barca area. Now Busquets. Malaga have to be careful here. Iniesta driving forward. Luis Suarez to his left, who's the recipient of this one.
But once again, Simon, they got 6 players behind the ball already. Now 7. It's impressive.
Messi very nearly fell through to him. In the end, Baise clears and miscues it, but puts it out of touch just to let a little bit of the pressure off the Malaga defence, who are performing well. It's Deulofeu. Now Samuel Umtiti. Rakitic. And Roland goes down, stays down, feeling in the back of the left thigh. That's, as far as Mitchell's concerned, hopefully a player just trying to slow things down for a moment before the half-time whistle, or very bad news indeed.
Yeah, they've already had a number of injuries prior to this match. He's had to move things around a lot, Mitchell, for this game, and that would be an absolute disaster if his best player, his informed player, Diego Roland, wasn't able to continue here.
Well, there's where the first time the hand goes to the back of the thigh after this attempted cross is brilliantly anticipated by Umtiti. Look at the hand there. Sean Mitchell will ask him just to hang on until half-time and get the masseur's hand on him.
Wherever love goes, there is also misery. It's no mystery. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy. When we're in too deep. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look in the mirror, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the pain. I'm sorry for all the pain. Go look like a symphony. And you and I, we got history, yeah. And when you're alone, do you say my name or you say her name? Yeah. My love, it grows with the memories like a symphony. And you and I, we got history, yeah. Wherever love flows, there is also tragedy. When we're in too deep, and you and I, we got history, yeah.
The truth is so hard to find. With all the things that's going on, I lost track, I felt so strong. I got you on my mind, but something's been done wrong. Sometimes I've been thinking of what to make of me and my memories. Sometimes I've been thinking of, dreaming of what it could have been besides memories. 'Cause I still need you. Cause I
half performance, especially after the disappointment of the way they went behind. That's the argument, you know, they're clearly working their socks off for Mitchell Gonzalez. Let's hope people in charge at the Andalusian club are paying attention to that, because when things go wrong in a league as tough as Laliga Santander, they really do tend to go wrong. Lady Luck on this occasion, sticking the boot in to Malaga. They've got 45 minutes left to try and get back into this game. They'll be feeling a little aggrieved. Mitchell obviously has got to persuade them that the game is still open, there's still a chance, there's still something there for them, and it's certainly a big ask for him, a real test of his psychological control of this team. Mitchell's lived some pretty tough and intense evenings in the Camp Nou as a Real Madrid player over his playing career, and let's see how Malaga respond to the second half. Certainly no reason for them to be feeling too down, as Juanpi Anor comes on to replace Diego Roland, who we saw clutching the back of his thigh in the closing minute of the first half. On comes the young Venezuelan Juanpi Anor, such a huge talent. We expected so much from him, especially when he burst onto the scene at the beginning of last season, linking up very well with fellow Venezuelan Adalberto Peñaranda, the two given an opportunity here to link up in the second half at the Camp Nou.
Yeah, it's a pity that Diego Roland's gone off, because he's been Malaga's best player so far this season. He's a real talent, a player that came over from Uruguay a good many years ago. He spent 5 seasons in Ligue 1 in France, playing for Bordeaux. And I think he's an excellent signing. He's looked very, very good indeed. But on a positive, on comes Juanpi, who's one of my favourite players in this Malaga team. I think he's absolutely brilliant. He's got one of the best left foots I've ever seen. And he's the sort of player that can score from just about anywhere. He's very creative, he's skillful, but he's also got that magnificent left foot which enables him to score streamers from outside of the box. So that gives you an extra option as well. So it's not doom and gloom for Malaga. They have lost an important player, but they've brought on a very, very talented replacement.
Throw into Malaga, Rosales to take it, the third of the 3 Venezuelans on the park right now for Malaga. That one very nearly fell for Keko. He did well to get a little touch in, just overhit it, and Peñaranda unable to react on time. You can see they're just in the centre circle, the 2 Venezuelans. Here's Mascherano. Sergio Roberto inside to Rakitic. Back to Mascherano again. Leo Messi hounded off the ball there by Paul Baise. Rakitic can't take advantage of the loose one. Juanpi with a little touch to Peñaranda. Here's Rosales. Iniesta harrying him there. Back to Luis Hernandez. Juanpi already with the penalty area in his sight. He's blocked by Umtiti. In terms of physicality, Juanpi Anor against Samuel Umtiti, there's only one winner really, isn't there?
Yeah. No, but it's a good positive start from Juanpi. He'll have been told to be positive, to run at that defence, to get shots away whenever possible, and he's had a nice run already after just a couple of minutes of this second half.
Deulofeu goes flying there, the referee waves play on. Peñaranda, Jordi Castro to his right, still Peñaranda, picks out Keko, streaming up the right to Rosales, overhits the cross, and that'll be a throw. But again, Malaga arriving in dangerous areas with dangerous areas for the Barca defence with a certain amount of ease. Here's the challenge on Deulofeu, waved away by the ref, and there's Juanpi's earlier run when he came up against the solid brick wall, which is Samuel Umtiti.
Just a shame that Rosales wasn't able to put a decent ball into the box there. He'd made such an effort to catch up with play. It was a good ball from Keko, but a terrible overhit cross from the Malaga captain.
Peñaranda goes down, wins a free kick on this occasion. Sergio Busquets shows his disagreement with the ref's decision there. He's got his hands clearly on his arm. Peñaranda goes down fairly easily, but I mean, you've got to call that a foul.
Yeah, without a doubt. I don't think he can really complain too much about that one, Sergio Busquets.
Here's Juanpi. Adrian. It's looking at a promising start to the second half for Malaga. Chori drives it in low, it's blocked, it'll be a throw to Malaga. It's looked impressive since the restart. Here's Adrian. Shakes off the challenge of Deulofeu. Picks out Rosales. He's got Keko with him. Return ball to the right back. Rosales inside to Juanpi. Keko. Decent cross in. A chance for Chori Castro. He prefers to watch the ball go out for a corner for Malaga.
Really good movement from Malaga. Really good football. Crisp passing. Excellent play once again, and they've earned themselves a corner kick here.
It's the third corner of the game for the side from the Costa del Sol. Whipped in. Nobody got a touch to it. It's collected here by Rolon. Rosales, a long ball wide. Very nearly controlled there by Chori Castro. Deulofeu, a bit of a loose one there. Collected by Rosales. Thinks about shooting. Straight into the chest of Mark ter Stegen, but it was on target. And Barca, one or two things to think about, as Semedo and also Andre Gomez can be seen warming up on the sidelines. But certainly a very, very positive Malaga side since the restart, taking some of the initiative here in the Camp Nou.
One thing worth pointing out is that poor pass from Deulofeu. That's precisely why he's criticised by the Barca fans. It was an unnecessary pass, tried to find Iniesta, and it ended up Malaga breaking down that Barca possession and managing to counter-attack as well.
Deulofeu responds by trying to get away from Juancar, goes down and is penalised. The free kick. Deulofeu looking at referee Pablo Gonzalez, can't understand the decision. Unless he's given a goal kick. Looked to me like he'd awarded a free kick in favour of Malaga.
Yeah, I think that's what it certainly looked like, which would be a strange decision. It was both of them tussling away, wasn't it? I don't think Deulofeu was any more at fault, and it is a free kick. Slightly strange decision, that one.
Well, it's Andres Prieto to take it. We just saw the repeat of that attempt from Rosales. Not really testing Mark ter Stegen too much. Hit straight at the German keeper.
Nicely struck though, wasn't it? With his less favoured left foot as well. Great contact on the ball, but as you say, Simon, straight down the middle and an easy one for ter Stegen.
Samuel Umtiti driving forward for Football Club Barcelona. He picks out Lucas Digne. Gets the return ball under pressure from Keko. Now it's Ivan Rakitic looking for Messi. It's a good ball, and Leo Messi, failing to control it, turns round and gives the thumb up to Rakitic. It was a lovely weighted ball in. Surprising to see Messi fail to bring that one under control.
Yeah, it was surprising. It was a great run by Messi. Good bit of movement as well, as he initially ran towards Rakitic and then ducked in behind the defender. He'd completely lost the Malaga centre-back. Well,
here's Messi again on the ball. Gets into the area, tries a shot. It's palmed away by Prieto, and Barcelona win a corner. You can never take your eyes off the little fellow. And after failing to bring Rakitic's pass under control, he responds immediately. Here's Andres Iniesta driving it in. Umtiti, it was making a run towards the near post, but no problems for Andres Prieto to gather it in. Here's that messy move. It's forced wide. It looked as though he'd lost the chance of a shot, but forced the save out of Prieto.
Good save as well, actually.
It was.
Strong hand on the ball.
Iniesta. Pressed off the ball there by 3 Malaga players. It's Gigo in the end who took it off him, and Malaga win the throw. And I've got a feeling Sergio Busquets won't be too pleased with that. I think he's changed his mind. The linesman appeared to give that one in favour of Malaga. Mitchell certainly has room to question one or two of the decisions we've seen tonight. Suarez chasing this and wins it off Juanca. Juanca goes down, and this time it's a free kick to Malaga. Luis Suarez, I think it's fair to say, not too pleased with the linesman's decision.
I think that initial one was probably a foul by Suarez, if I'm honest.
Samuel Umtiti for Barcelona in the centre circle. Gives it away to Gigo. It was a clumsy one from Umtiti. Good challenge from Mascherano. Deulofeu wins a throw-in.
So important, this challenge from Javier Mascherano, because it was nearly brilliant. And it would have been a 3-on-2 situation for Malaga. Had to time that right. It was a bit of a risk sliding in like that by Javier Mascherano, but when does he miss? When does he not make the tackle? So infrequently, and on this occasion, once again, he read it perfectly and made the perfect challenge.
Digne inside to Iniesta.
He's such a good stand-in, Simon, and that's what he is this season now. It is official that Piqué and Umtiti are the centre-back partnership for Ernesto Valverde, but to have someone like Javier Mascherano that can come into the team to give Umtiti or Piqué a rest, and we've seen it on a few occasions. Both Umtiti and Piqué have had a rest. Piqué now in 2 games, Umtiti in a couple of matches as well.
There's Leo Messi, feeds it off to Iniesta, who brings it under control, and the ball in the back of the net. Took a deflection, Andres Iniesta with the goal, and Barca make it 2-0. And is there any coming back from this for Mitchell's Malaga? Andres Iniesta doesn't get among the scorers too often, but he's got an important one now. It's his first goal of the season, and the Camp Nou with reason to celebrate. The legend of the Camp Nou, Andres Iniesta, and it's an important goal too. Mascherano started it, picking up Messi. Iniesta took one touch, and it's not an easy finish. He's got Rosales blocking him, and it actually just comes off the bottom of Rosales' boot. That lifts the ball off the air and over the top of Andres Prieto. 2-0.
Yeah, he gets a bit fortunate, doesn't he, Iniesta? Looked like he struck it nicely with his left foot, and as you mentioned, the first touch is perfect, and it's what gives him the space and the ability to strike the ball on target. But that deflection off Rosales is what lifts it over the goalkeeper, no doubt about it. But it's a big goal for Barca. Malaga had a chance to get back into this game when it was 1-0. You'd say it's probably now a mountain too high to climb for this Malaga side, who have only scored 3 goals all season, and those 3 goals all came in one game against Athletic Club. Big goal for Andres Iniesta as well. As you said, first goal of the season. It's only his 2nd goal in his last 4 seasons with Football Club Barcelona. Didn't score at all last season, scored 1 the year before and none the year before that. So he doesn't get on the score sheet very much, and finally he's back in the goals, Andres Iniesta.
I've always thought about Andres Iniesta that if he averaged 10 or 12 goals a season, he probably would have won a couple of Ballons d'Or by now.
I think you're probably right. His best ever return on a La Liga season was the 2010-2011 campaign. That year that Barca were completely unstoppable and won just about everything. That famous victory against Manchester United in the Champions League final. He scored 8 goals in that campaign, league goals that is. That's his best ever return for Barca.
Samuel Umtiti for Football Club Barcelona. There's a palpable sense of relief around the Camp Nou, because it had been Malaga who'd come out the stronger of the two after the break. You could see the reaction from Mitchell, those brilliant close-up images of him trying to get his idea across to the defence. He can't be unhappy with the performance of his side so far, but he's in a situation, as the referee gives a free kick in favour of Barcelona. Leo Messi fouled there. Mitchell's in a situation where he just needs his players not to make any mistakes and to give 110% for 90 minutes. And that's a huge ask when you're bottom of the table with just 1 point on board. Andres Iniesta gets away from Keko. Takes a little stumble, wins a free kick. Just clipped there by Keko Gontan. Serious look on his face. I'm sure the Malaga players would have known as well as Mitchell himself does, having played here so many times and having come here as a manager so many times too, that 1-0 is never a satisfying score for the Camp Nou, especially as the minutes tick away and you're still just 1-0 up. There's what they call here a run that goes around the crowd, a kind of nervous tension that's often picked up by the players themselves. Luis Suarez showing strength there, just missing the target, putting it into the side netting. That's a typical Luis Suarez reception and turn and shot there from the edge of the box. Does really well to stay on his feet, bullies his way beyond Paul Bicet. The shot just wide, and again great defending by Luis Hernandez, doing probably just enough to put the Uruguayan off.
He certainly cut down his angles, didn't he? Came across very quickly after, as you said, Suarez bullied his way past Paul Bicet, but it was fantastic. The turn from Suarez, he just rolled the defender brilliantly, used all his strength and got his shot away.
Well, that ball wasn't intended for Leo Messi, chased it, but it was Juanca who had the advantage. Malaga here have to be so careful. They've still got half an hour left. A goal in the next 20 minutes would certainly introduce that nervous tension I was mentioning. Free kick in their favour here as Peñaranda goes down. The reverse side to that, of course, is this Barcelona side, without really having got out of first gear, you get the impression so far in the first hour here today. If they sense a rival's weakness, they can just go ahead and absolutely put you to death, really, here in the Camp Nou. So it's in a crucial moment, this game, and you can see the relief and pleasure on Iniesta's face there as Messi celebrates with him. Free kick taken, nobody gets on the end of it, as Lucas Digne playing the ball out, and you could hear the scream of Adrian there. He's quick to get back to his feet and responding to the linesman there for that decision.
It's nice to see that replay earlier, Simon, of Messi and Iniesta hugging each other after that goal. You saw Messi go straight over to Andres Iniesta. He'll have known how important that goal was for his teammate. He'll have known that Iniesta hasn't been in the goals in the last few seasons. That is something he's criticised for. He's all, you know, it's something you mentioned earlier. It's always said that he should probably score more goals. He's always wanted to add more goals to his game.
Just saw Mascherano give that one away cheaply. Keko overhits the pass though. It's a bit of work for Juanpi to do. He does it well. Peñaranda, Rolón, Rosales to Peñaranda. Rosales again. Decent atmosphere being created by the fans here tonight in the Camp Nou. Keko. He got through Busquets' legs there. It's picked up by Peñaranda. Rolón to Adrian. Bicet square to Hernandez. Now Rosales, good defensive work off the ball by Barca, pushing Malaga back. Rosales floating one in, the flag up for offside. He's belted away by Juanca in frustration, raises his hand in apology. I think one can understand his frustration and that of all the Malaga players.
Most definitely, yeah. It's been a really frustrating evening for them because they've played well I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, when you're bottom of the league, you've only got 1 point, you've only scored 3 goals all season, but there are certainly positives they can take, and we've said this time and again, and how long can we keep on saying it before they turn things around or make a big change, probably sacking the manager.
Well, it's always the manager goes. It's easier to sack the manager than the players, as the saying goes. Mitchell was asked about this a lot after last week's defeat. He's going to be asked about it a lot more over the coming days, no question about that. He said he can't see Malaga in the second division, but 9 games in, this is the 9th, if they were to still just be on the 1 point, you're leaving yourself such a heck of a lot of work to do. Is changing the manager the answer? Well, the only way to find out is by doing it, I guess. Mitchell did recognise last week that maybe it's because he doesn't have the solution. Difficult really to see how much more he could do. They've lost quality players over the summer without really bringing too much in their place. I'm thinking especially of Pablo Fornals and Sandro Ramirez, 2 crucial players who would start in any Malaga team.
Yeah, and it was Sandro who scored in that 2-0 win against Barca last season, against his former club, of course, because he was at Barca, came up through the youth ranks here at the Camp Nou. They've got some key games coming up, Simon. They play Numancia in midweek in the Copa del Rey. That'll be a good one to gain a bit of confidence, at least if they pick up a victory there. It will boost their confidence, and then they play at home against Celta. That's a key one. After that, it's away against Villarreal and back at home against Deportivo La Coruña. So some really key and winnable games coming up for Malaga.
Emanuel Cecchini is about to come on, a player signed from Banfield in the Argentinian league, just 20 years of age, and he's a central midfielder, so we'll see what that change means to the shape of this Malaga. Busquets under pressure. He feels he's fouled, and the foul given in Barcelona's favour. 25 minutes left on the clock. Barcelona 2-0 up. Busquets himself takes the free kick and picks out Mascherano. Sergio Roberto. Deulofeu back to Sergio Roberto. Finds Messi. Turn. Couldn't quite find Luis Suarez. Keiko trying to arm the counter-attack. Chori Castro didn't quite come out right. Holding off Sergio Roberto. Twisting and turning to get beyond him. Lovely skill from Chori. Gets the cross in. Umtiti loses his ground. Keko's shot. There's complaint or an appeal for handball. Keko's shot blocked by Digne. According to Digne's reaction, in the face, and the rebound straight at Mark ter Stegen. Things not going Malaga's way. Again, it's a decent counter.
He just put his hands up there, Digne. I mean, it's a natural reaction, isn't it? But
I think you're allowed to, when the ball's coming to hit you in your face, you can put your hands up. Whether or not it's then a penalty or not, that's another question.
I mean, I personally think that should be a penalty kick. It strikes him on the hand quite clearly, and his hand's in an unnatural position. It's a handball,
right?
But you can understand why it happens.
You can. Then it's down to the referee's interpretation of things. When I said you can do that, what I mean is the natural response when the ball's coming to your face is to do that. Peñaranda, not at all happy, being told to move on by referee Pablo González. Well, Cecchini's come on to replace Rolón during that kerfuffle. But again, Malaga are going to be saying you have to ask questions about the refereeing performance today.
Definitely, they haven't. The decisions quite simply haven't gone their way, and the luck didn't really go their way with that Iniesta goal either. It takes a wicked deflection that lifts the ball over Andres Prieta. But we're talking about the link-up between Messi and Iniesta. We've seen it time and time again in this game, and it's probably been the highlight of this match, I'd say. The two of them know each other so well. And I get the feeling that this season especially, they're really enjoying their football again. We're seeing the best of Leo Messi. We're seeing, again, the best of Andres Iniesta. And I just get the feeling that Iniesta's just signed his new contract. I'm sure Messi will do the same shortly. they're just enjoying life at Barca again, enjoying the way that Ernesto Valverde is setting up this team, enjoying the way that they're playing football.
I can't remember a recent season when Andres Iniesta's played so many minutes by this stage of the campaign.
Yeah, and it's a funny one because we were talking earlier about how he doesn't score enough goals, and he has only scored 2 league goals in the last 4 seasons. But when you think of Andres Iniesta, you think of 2 of the most important goals in football history. One, that goal for Barca, which is one of the biggest goals in their history against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, which put them through to the final in Pep Guardiola's first year. And obviously the other one you think is probably the World Cup final in 2010.
Yeah, it does have a habit of scoring important ones, even if he doesn't get too many. Andres Iniesta, Leo Messi just taking on too many Malaga players there. Chance perhaps on the break. Advantage Javier Mascherano. And while we've been chatting away, the clock has ticked on. We're just about up to the last 20 minutes of the game. Still plenty to play for out there on the playing surface of the Camp Nou. Here's Leo Messi. Sergio Roberto returns it to Messi. Iniesta, first time back to Samuel Umtiti. Messi. Deulofeu couldn't quite get on the end of it. It's picked up by Roberto Rosales. Again, Malaga looking for a break. Juancar well dealt with by Sergio Roberto. Cecchini's cross looking for Keko. He volleys it in first time. Umtiti tapping it down to Mark ter Stegen, who, as we're getting very accustomed to seeing, looks so calm and poised on the ball when the ball's at his feet, especially under pressure. That one came off Andres Iniesta. It's a throw to Malaga. And another change being made. And it's once again Gerard Deulofeu who's hoiked off. And he'll be replaced by Semedo, presumably Sergio Roberto moving up into midfield. And Peñaranda there is wearing the 16 for Malaga. Felt he was getting called off. Is in fact Gerard Deulofeu. Not his greatest performance today, it's fair to say, Duncan, no. But he is always the first change, isn't he? And that has to rankle a little bit. I'm
a big Gerard Deulofeu fan. I think he's been excellent since he's returned to Football Club Barcelona. I think we've seen Malaga have made a change as well.
Yeah, Borja Baston's on to replace Alberto Peñaranda, who really, I think he's run himself into the ground, to be quite fair.
He's worked really hard in the first half. He worked incredibly hard as well, because it was him that was dropping back. Diego Roland was staying as the number 9, the striker. It was Peñaranda who was so often dropping back into midfield to help out. But I was saying, Deulofeu, I'm a fan of his. I think he's done really well since he's returned. We've seen that he's grown up a bit. He's got a different attitude, but he didn't have a good game today.
First couple of touches already for former Swansea player Borja Baston. And the shot in the end always going wide as Valverde prepares his next change. Paulinho pulls on the jersey to replace Rakitic, perhaps.
Probably. Maybe Iniesta if he wants to protect him.
Ter Stegen calmly plays the ball out straight at Luis Hernandez, however. Malaga still insisting. That one floated in towards Baston, and Titi dealt with it well. Still Malaga enjoying quite a decent amount of possession in this second half. Here's Rosales. Adrian leaves it for Cecchini. Keko. Busquets helping Digne there. Lovely ball there. And Barca on the break. Leo Messi, Sergio Roberto. The first touch takes him away from Rosales into the box, pulls it back for Suarez, who misses an open goal. Suarez with a wry smile on his face. He's going to have to apologise there for Sergio Roberto. What a brilliant run. The first time Sergio Roberto has moved from right back into midfield, and he creates Barca's best chance of the second half, goal excluded.
Well, we've seen Sergio Roberto do this, haven't we? Time and again, just bursting runs. He's quick and he's skillful. He's very good at running with pace with the football and getting beyond defenders. It's a brilliant cross from him as well. Just a shame that Suarez couldn't finish it off.
Well, Suarez, when he watches that one again, will be kicking himself. There's a yellow card for Samuel Umtiti and a rather dangerous looking free kick for Malaga. And with 16 long minutes left, it's Baston brought down by Umtiti just as he'd released the ball. Opportunity perhaps for Malaga. It's quite a long way away from the goal defended by Ter Stegen. Can they create something from this set piece? Baston in the middle there. Flicked in by Juanpi, not too far away. And it's Luis Hernandez. He's been really impressive today, Luis Hernandez. Done a good job at the back, and one of Malaga's best chances just then coming off his head.
Yeah, it was a rare opportunity to see Malaga and the Barca half in this second period. It was a rare opportunity to see a set piece from Juanpi as well. I talked a lot about his left foot, but we barely named him in this second half. He's barely done anything, but that's a brilliant free kick right onto the head of Luis Hernandez, who almost squeezes that header in inside the far post, but just a little bit wide.
Well, it's Sergio Busquets who's being replaced. He gets an ovation from the Camp Nou.
He certainly keeps us guessing, doesn't he, Ernesto Valverde?
He does.
Because Paulinho hasn't come on in the Busquets role at all, and in fact I think we'll probably see Rakitic go back into the Busquets role, and it'll be Paulinho and Iniesta as the more attacking midfielders.
Well, Sergio Busquets got his ovation, but a very warm reception for Paulinho as well, who's been impressive when he was signed. A lot of raised eyebrows, not your typical Barca style player, but I think Valverde's used him well so far.
Well, I think Robert Fernandez, the director of football at Barca, and Ernesto Valverde and whoever else was involved in the signing have been vindicated. I think you're right. When I first saw it, I thought it was a strange one. A player who hadn't succeeded at Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League and had been shipped out to China. And then for Barca to sign him seemed odd. But he was the right profile of player. He's come in, he's a different midfielder. He provides something that Barca don't have. He's a box-to-box player. He's big, he's tough, he's good in the air. And he's been a good signing.
Leo Messi bursting through. He's obstructed there by Luis Hernandez. The referee lets him get away with that one. Intelligent defending once again. Brilliant passing move from Barca. When you see Messi on the ball, getting into your penalty area, the alarm bells ring. And was there a little off the ball there between Baisse and Messi? Seems to have come to nothing. Here's Samuel Umtiti. We're inside the last 15 minutes now. If Malaga are going to do anything, well, first of all, they've got to keep the goals out, and secondly, start to really think of pushing men forward. They've done that quite well in this second half. They've had quite a few occasions where they've forced Ter Stegen to work. We're seeing Paco Alcácer alongside Gomez warming up there as Valverde perhaps prepares a third and final change.
A man we've barely seen at all this season. It's a pity for Paco Alcácer because he was Valencia captain, a really important player. He broke into the Spanish national team and it hasn't gone as he'd have hoped since he arrived at Football Club Barcelona. He's only played twice this season.
Brilliant skill from Messi. Digne perhaps a little bit to see it. Keko failed to get the ball away. Juanpi helping out at the back. Lovely little run again from Messi. Iniesta wings it back off Juanpi. Sergio Roberto helping out too. And just blasted away by Luis Hernandez once more. Rakitic. Umtiti. Mascherano. Floating it in. He saw Sergio Roberto's run. The flag stays down. Sergio Roberto fails to get the ball out from under his feet. Messi here. A dink over the top. Paulinho arriving. Luis Suarez was there too. And in the end, it's a Malaga throw. Well played by Juancard.
Well, this is a criticism of Sergio Roberto, and I think some of the Barca players, that they get into positions
and over-elaborate,
but also he was in a great position to get a shot away, and what did he do? He looked up and tried to pick out Messi. The first reaction so often is, where's Messi? Rather than where's the goal, and I think on that occasion it should have been much simpler, and he should have just put his foot through the ball and got a shot away.
Rakitic looking for Messi, once again coming up against Luis Hernandez. It's Keko on the ball, shakes off the challenge of Rakitic. Good interception, good anticipation from Mascherano. Might not be the quickest on the pitch, but in terms of the way he sees football, he sees it quickly. Iniesta down, advantage played. Suarez leaves it to Messi. Iniesta stays down. Paulinho. Leo Messi loses possession. Malaga are going to continue. The counter-attack breaking down. Iniesta on his knees, getting to his feet rather gingerly. But once you play possession, I mean, you can't ask Malaga to put the ball out of play.
No, exactly. Barca continued, so why shouldn't Malaga?
Applause for Iniesta as he gets back to his feet. Apparently no major harm done. Here's Rakitic. Now Mascherano. Samuel Umtiti. Suarez, that typical turn from him. He's trying to backheel it to Messi. It just didn't quite come off. And it's Baise who plays it out. Now Keko. Rosales. Juanpi does very well indeed. It gets it away from Paulinho as well. It's better from Malaga. Juancard. Juanpi again turns. 4 men around him. It's Juancard. Whips the cross in. Keko. And Rosales coming in. Juanpi didn't quite catch it. No problems for Mark ter Stegen. We're in the final 10 minutes. Can Malaga get back into this, Duncan?
No. Well, never say never, but let's be honest, probably not. That doesn't mean that they haven't put in a good performance, and it doesn't mean that they can't take some positives and be proud of their performance. This should have been the third goal, by the way. Suarez somehow puts that one wide. He can't believe it. They've been good, I think, Malaga. They don't look like a team that are bottom of the table, do they?
They don't really. We've seen worse performances in the Camp Nou by visitors. There's no question about that. Just once you get in the negative momentum of a string of poor results, as you say, I mean, the game's coming up for them. You could imagine them getting to that game they have against Real Madrid with 9 or 10 points almost, but it's difficult to break a negative momentum, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, especially when the luck's going against you as well. You know, they didn't have any luck with that first goal, and they didn't have any luck with that second goal for two completely different reasons. The first was a terrible decision. The second was a slightly fortunate deflection.
Well, look, Luis Suarez is being rested. He doesn't look too happy about it, taking his time to get off the pitch as well. He's going to be replaced by Paco Alcácer, who's going to get 8 minutes. An opportunity to get amongst the scorers. Decent round of applause for Luis Suarez. Not exactly a standing ovation.
Well, no, it's not exactly been a standing ovation performance from him.
No, it hasn't.
Especially with that miss. But no, he's played well. He's put a shift in, combined well with Messi.
Paulinho to Andres Iniesta. He picks out Lucas Digne. Iniesta again. Just a bit short of Paco Alcácer. Hernandez plays it back to Andres Prieto. I'm sure what we're going to see in these minutes, Duncan, is Messi, Iniesta and company looking for Paco Alcácer.
Yeah, we've seen that, haven't we, in the past. Messi especially looking for Paco Alcácer. Knows only too well what a goal means and how important it is for a striker, for their confidence and for their all-round game.
Oh, that's a great run from Sergio Roberto. Jinking in the area past a couple of defenders. The shot on the left foot always going wide. Big round of applause for the run though. He's desperate to show what he can do in midfield, I'm sure, to Ernesto Valverde, who, on the other hand, obviously knows what he can do. Not a good finish.
No, it was his only option, really. He did look up to see if he had a teammate in space, but there wasn't anyone there, so he went for goal.
There's the challenge on Andres Iniesta by Emanuel Cecchini, and it earned him a yellow card when play had eventually been stopped. Good challenge there from Mascherano once more. It's Rakitic on the ball. Now Semedo. And applause for the jefecito, Javier Mascherano.
Well, it shows how well Malaga have played, that he has been a standout performer, Javier Mascherano. He has had work to do in this game. Ter Stegen's been quiet. It's true that they haven't carved out many goal-scoring opportunities, but he's been busy, Mascherano.
Semedo getting into the area, gets the rebound back, leaves it for Rakitic, who rockets one in. It hit Paul Bicey and came out. But I'm still remembering more Ter Stegen saves than Prieto saves. Although for Ter Stegen, it's on every occasion Malaga have got a shot on target, it's been straight at him. Here's Leo Messi. Gets into the area, dummies a shot, pauses, looks for the 1-2 with Paulinho. Prieto hesitated, and in the end, it's Paulinho puts the ball over. But once again, Messi showing how he likes to collaborate with the newer players. We've seen this on a couple of occasions, how he looks for Paulinho. There's obviously some kind of understanding there.
There's a connection there, no doubt about it, and it's another glorious opportunity for Football Club Barcelona. And okay, maybe we haven't seen too many saves from Prieto, but if you think of the Sergi Roberto chance, if you think of that chance for Paulinho, if you think above all of the Luis Suarez chance, there are 3 goals that could very easily have gone in.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. There's no question that Barca have dominated from the off, really. I'm just saying, I don't really see them as being on top of their game tonight.
No.
They've been a little bit lacklustre at times. We've seen flashes, glimpses of those wonderful combinations on and around the Malaga area. They just seemed, I don't know, as if they could do with sharpening the lead in their pencil a little bit.
I feel like if they needed to, they would have done though as well, Simon.
There's always that.
They've sort of been playing in third gear because they scored a goal after 2 minutes, and they haven't really needed to crank up through the gears. And nor Messi. You know, we haven't seen an awful lot of Messi, but when we have, he's, as always, been brilliant. But that's what you get. That's why he can play 90 minutes. Because he drifts in and out of games. He's there when you need him. That's why they never take him off, because he rests on the field. You see Messi barely move at times, but you know that if you need a goal, he's there. With
that explosive pace that makes him almost unplayable. Here's Digne. It's an awkward one. Alcácer was up there with Prieto, but it's a goal kick that's been given. Or is it? No, it's a corner. And Iniesta goes across to take it. We've got 3 minutes left. Iniesta plays it short. Digne. Headed clear by Luis Hernandez once more. Here's Semedo. Under a bit of pressure. Back to the sweeper keeper, Mark Ter Stegen. At the end of the day, Duncan, as well, what you've got to do, we were talking at the beginning of the game how Barcelona only drew 0-0 at home to Malaga last season, lost to them, I think it was match day 31 in the Rosaleda, probably ended up costing them the La Liga title. You've got to get the wins against these teams, and the thing about this Barca is even if they're not quite so thrilling at times as recent versions of the team. That's a good ball from Messi to Lucas Digne, cuts it back towards Messi, and Keiko had done a tremendous job of getting back and anticipating. It's lost though by Rosales. It falls to Paulinho and is palmed away for a corner by Andres Prieto.
He's looked really good, hasn't he, since he came on, sharp. Paulinho. Sharp and good movement, strong in possession, creating chances, energetic, I think you'd say as well.
Yeah, without a doubt, enjoying himself too. Big smile on his face. Just to finish the point I was making, at the end of the day, if you want to challenge for La Liga, what you've got to do is grind out the wins. And when you're not at 100%, you're not as sharp as perhaps you might be, or you might usually be. You get the 2-0 win at home over Malaga, and at the end of the season, nobody's going to be saying, yeah, it wasn't the greatest performance, was it? The important thing right now for Valverde and Barca to maintain their unbeaten record. Only dropped 2 points so far, and that keeps them 4 points clear of Valencia, who also got a huge win today. That one falling very nearly for Messi. It's in the back of the net. The whistle, I think, had gone. And that one won't stand. Whether it actually came off Messi or Rosales' boot in the end there, I'm not sure. Doesn't look too happy, Leo Messi.
Well, he thought he'd scored. I think it's a foul against Paulinho that's been given. I think Messi does end up nodding it into the back of the net. Oh, it's offside.
Offside.
Samuel Umtiti.
Yeah. There, the flag goes up. The whistle went. Well, it was Messi who got his head to it, in which case risking life and limb a little bit there, because the Rosales' boot was up. Just a moment of respite there for the beleaguered Malaga players. Here's Rosales, cleared by Umtiti. Only as far as Cecchini. Jordi Castro. Juanca's cross. And there's a chance there for Juanpi. Not perhaps known as the greatest header of the ball. He got it on target. No major problems for Mark ter Stegen.
Yeah, he did well to win the ball in the air. Juanpi, he's not the biggest player. Got his header on target. It was an excellent ball in once again from Juanca. That's a couple of superb crosses we've seen from him from the Malaga left-hand side. Yeah,
he's been impressive, hasn't he? 3 minutes have been added here at the Camp Nou. We're into the first of them. There's Juanpi again, bit of space as he turns. Plays it wide. Getting into the area, Jordi Castro. No problems again for Mark ter Stegen, but he's been called into action a little bit more this second half. Ivan Rakitic playing the ball out. Messi, first time, looking forward, finding Iniesta, who, with a beautiful little back heeler, finds him once again. Messi's ball is brilliant to Alcácer. The flag up for offside. Alcácer can't get it beyond Andres Prieto anyway. What a pass from Leo Messi.
It's the weight on the pass. Look at the weight. There's no way that the defender can get it, and it's perfectly into the path. I mean, it's just incredible.
Absolutely superb. Paul Baise, the defender. There's Juanpi's header earlier. But once again, Alcácer, no joy for him. Good interception on that occasion. Andres Iniesta unable to take advantage of it, wins it back, but illegally. Free kick given. Rosales having words with Juanpi. 2/3 of the Venezuelan contingent in the Rosaleda.
100 days in charge for Ernesto Valverde. 11 wins, including this one, which I doubt Barca are going to concede a couple in the last minute.
Not with crosses like that, you would have thought, although it does come to Keko. Juanpi. Keko again. Still insisting. Malaga, Adrian, the cross block by Paulinho. Comes to Rosales. Juanpi Anor. Decent combination. Andres Iniesta taking it off him. Samuel Umtiti giving it away. Juanca's cross blocked, and it's safely collected by Mark ter Stegen. And that, you have to say, Duncan McMath, is probably that for as far as Malaga are concerned.
Yeah, and another professional performance from this Football Club Barcelona side. They've got a bit lucky, but they've dominated. They've created a lot of chances in this second half, which they haven't taken. Andres Iniesta getting on the score sheet. An all-round good performance, I think, by Barca, but Malaga will certainly feel aggrieved.
They'll feel aggrieved, and you've got to say, you know, if you needed an argument for keeping Mitchell on, it would be perhaps this performance today, which has just been brought to an end by referee Pablo González, with the final score: Football Club Barcelona 2, Malaga 0. We saw Mitchell there congratulating Ernesto Valverde. We see Leo Messi